Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's episode, we're diving into a powerful Stoic principle, flowing with life, the wisdom of non-force. We've all experienced that urge to control every outcome in our lives. Whether it's striving for a promotion at work, trying to maintain a perfect relationship, or even stressing over our daily schedules, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the need to push too hard and manipulate circumstances. However, the Stoics offer us a different perspective. They teach us that life flows more peacefully when we learn to let go and embrace what comes naturally. As the philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote encapsulates the essence of Stoicism. Our power lies not in controlling external events, but in how we choose to respond. When we force our will upon life, we often find ourselves battling against the current, leading to stress and frustration. Instead, embracing the wisdom of non-force allows us to navigate life with greater ease and acceptance. In this episode, we'll break down 10 essential lessons on how to cultivate a life of more ease, presence, and acceptance. It's all about less force and more flow. We'll explore a wide range of topics, from finding joy in the simplest things to practicing mindfulness and tapping into the incredible power of silence and solitude. These practical Stoic insights can help you release stress and live with greater clarity, confidence, and inner peace. Consider the everyday moments that often slip through our fingers because we're too focused on the future or fixated on outcomes. For example, think about how many times you've been caught up in your thoughts during a meal, distracted by your phone or worries about tomorrow. Instead, imagine savoring each bite, being fully present, and appreciating the flavors and textures. This simple act of mindfulness can ground you in the present, allowing you to experience life more richly. These Stoic lessons are not just theoretical. They provide practical tools for navigating the challenges of modern life. By implementing these ideas, you can shift your mindset and cultivate a greater sense of inner tranquility. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This wisdom is a reminder that while we cannot control external circumstances, we can control our perceptions and reactions. So, as we delve into these lessons, I encourage you to reflect on how you can apply them to your own life. Let's embrace the flow of life, finding peace in uncertainty and joy in simplicity. If these insights resonate with you, please share them with friends and family, as we aim to create a community centered around calmness, resilience, and wisdom. Let's get into it. Lesson 1. Embrace the now, the art of living in the present. Fully engaging with the present moment is a critical tenet in Stoic philosophy. In a world that perpetually urges us to fret about the future or linger on the past, it's all too easy to overlook the significance of the here and now. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic thinker, profoundly stated, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This powerful reminder serves to emphasize the fleeting nature of time and the reality that the only moment we genuinely have is the one unfolding right now. Many of us find ourselves ensnared in a relentless cycle of anxiety, perpetually focused on what lies ahead, what's next on our to-do lists, the ambitions we seek to achieve, or the mistakes we've made in the past. This habitual distraction prevents us from experiencing the richness of the present moment, as our minds are often preoccupied with regrets or worries about the future. Living fully in the present is not merely a practice of mindfulness. It involves embracing life as it unfolds, appreciating small moments, and relinquishing the incessant need to plan, control, or fix everything. Consider the last time you experienced a moment of genuine presence. Perhaps it was during a tranquil morning spent savoring your coffee, the steam rising gently into the air, or while enjoying a peaceful stroll in nature, surrounded by the rustling leaves and the cheerful chirping of birds. In those instances, when your mind is completely attuned to the here and now, you encounter a profound sense of calm and contentment that eludes us when we're preoccupied with worrying about future outcomes or ruminating on past mistakes. Stoicism teaches us that this peace is always accessible if we consciously strive to focus on the present. Living fully in the present means learning to appreciate the little joys of everyday life. For instance, imagine sitting by a window, feeling the gentle warmth of the sun on your face, or hearing the laughter of loved ones echoing in the background. These moments may seem trivial, yet they are where true happiness resides. When we focus on the present, we can significantly alleviate stress and anxiety because we are no longer preoccupied with factors outside our control. The Stoics believed that much of our suffering stems from wishing things were different than they are or fearing what might happen in the future. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we liberate ourselves from this unnecessary mental burden. To illustrate this, think about a simple yet common act: eating a meal. How often do you find yourself consuming food while distracted? Perhaps watching television, scrolling through your phone, or mentally preparing for the tasks ahead. Now visualize this. You sit down to enjoy a meal and fully savor each bite, paying attention to the flavors, textures, and the nourishment the food provides. This practice of immersing yourself in the experience, however mundane it may seem, is the essence of living in the present. Over time, this mindfulness cultivates a sense of gratitude for the little things, enhancing overall well-being and contentment. Another effective method to cultivate presence is through practicing mindfulness, a concept highly valued in Stoic teachings. Mindfulness doesn't have to be complicated. It simply means being aware of your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings in the current moment without judgment. It's about releasing distractions and concentrating on what is happening right now. Whether you're walking, engaging in conversation, or working on a project, mindfulness allows you to connect more deeply with the task at hand, enhancing both your experience and effectiveness. However, it's crucial to recognize that living fully in the present isn't always straightforward. Life is filled with distractions, and our minds naturally wander to the past and future. The Stoics recognized this challenge and advocated for regular practices and reflections to cultivate the habit of presence. Epictetus suggested a practical approach. Regularly ask yourself, what am I doing right now? And how does it contribute to my overall well-being? This simple yet profound question can help pull us out of the autopilot mode we often find ourselves in and remind us to refocus on the present. To incorporate this practice into your daily life, start by setting aside dedicated time each day for mindfulness. This could be as simple as spending a few minutes in the morning or evening in quiet reflection. Find a comfortable spot, breathe deeply, and concentrate on the present moment. Let go of thoughts about future responsibilities or past events. By doing this consistently, you'll likely notice a significant shift in how you experience daily life. Less stress, more joy, and a deeper connection to yourself and the world around you. Embracing the present also involves acknowledging that the present moment is all we truly possess. The past has slipped away, and the future remains uncertain. This doesn't mean we should abandon plans or reflections. Rather, we should avoid allowing those thoughts to consume us to the extent that we miss out on the life unfolding right before us. When you choose to embrace the present, you'll discover that time feels richer, relationships deepen, and your overall sense of peace expands. For example, consider how often we rush through conversations with friends or family, distracted by our phones or our thoughts, instead of engaging fully. By practicing presence, we can enrich our interactions, deepen our connections, and truly appreciate the people in our lives. In conclusion, living fully in the present is one of the most vital lessons from Stoicism. It encourages us to release unnecessary worries, embrace the moment, and find joy in life's simple aspects. By practicing mindfulness, appreciating the small joys, and focusing on what we can control in the here and now, we can lead more meaningful and peaceful lives. As Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, "While you live, while it is in your power, be good." Let's internalize this wisdom and start living with intention, fully present in every moment. By doing so, we open ourselves to a life filled with richness and depth that transforms our everyday experiences into extraordinary moments. Lesson 2: The beauty of change, accepting life's impermanence. One of the most profound insights that Stoic philosophy offers is the understanding and acceptance of impermanence. Everything in our lives, from the material possessions we hold dear to the relationships we nurture, and even our very existence, is temporary. The Stoics argue that fully embracing this reality is essential for living a fulfilling and confident life. Marcus Aurelius articulated this beautifully in his Meditations when he stated, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This striking reminder is not meant to instill fear. Rather, it encourages us to live with intention and mindfulness, fully aware that nothing in life is guaranteed. At first, grappling with the concept of impermanence can feel unsettling. Many individuals are conditioned to believe that their circumstances will remain stable or that they have an abundance of time to pursue their goals and ambitions. However, the Stoics teach us that everything exists in a state of constant change. Our emotions shift, relationships evolve, and even our physical bodies undergo transformation over time. By accepting this fluidity, we learn to relinquish our grip on things that are beyond our control, allowing us to appreciate life in its fleeting moments. In our contemporary world, it is all too easy to become entangled in the pursuit of stability, whether that be financial security, emotional assurance, or relational constancy. We often desire permanence because it provides a sense of safety and predictability. Yet, the more we attempt to control and cling to these aspects of life, the more anxiety and stress we create for ourselves. Stoicism teaches us that instead of resisting change, we should actively embrace it. This understanding of life's impermanence equips us to navigate the inevitable ups and downs with greater resilience and tranquility. Let's delve deeper into how the concept of impermanence can be particularly enlightening in the context of our relationships. Many people experience intense fear regarding the loss of loved ones, whether through breakups, death, or the gradual drifting apart that can occur over time. The pain associated with loss can be overwhelming because we often take the stability of our relationships for granted, assuming they will last indefinitely. The Stoics remind us that, like everything else in life, all relationships are impermanent. By acknowledging and accepting this reality, we can cherish the time we have with the people we care about and alleviate the fear of losing them. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, offered poignant advice when he stated, "When you kiss your child goodnight, say to yourself, they may be dead in the morning. Do not tempt fate by putting off what you need to do now." Although this statement may initially seem harsh, it serves as a powerful reminder to appreciate the present and to value our relationships while they last. Accepting impermanence does not lead to detachment or indifference. Rather, it allows us to engage more deeply with those we love, understanding that our time together is finite. This perspective fosters a greater capacity for kindness, patience, and appreciation because we are no longer taking our relationships for granted. To illustrate this point, think about a close friendship that has changed over the years. Perhaps you've grown apart due to different life paths or priorities. By recognizing the impermanence of that relationship, you can choose to cherish the memories you've shared rather than lamenting what has been lost. This mindset allows you to approach your interactions with a renewed sense of gratitude, appreciating the time spent together without the burden of expectation for the future. The principle of impermanence extends beyond personal connections. It encompasses our careers, material possessions, and even our health. Everything is subject to change, and by embracing this truth, we liberate ourselves from the suffering that arises from trying to hold on to what cannot be held. For instance, consider the stress that many individuals experience regarding aging. Society often glorifies youth and beauty, leading many to fear the natural process of growing older. However, the Stoics embraced aging as an integral part of life's journey. Seneca wisely noted, "We are born to die. It is our duty to be prepared for that and live as if each day is our last." Instead of fearing the passage of time, Stoicism teaches us to accept it gracefully, recognizing that every stage of life brings its own unique wisdom and value. A practical example of this can be seen in how we view our careers. Many people strive for job security and fear changes in their professional lives, whether it be layoffs or shifts in industry demand. By understanding that career paths can be transient, we can cultivate resilience and adaptability. For instance, if you find yourself laid off, instead of succumbing to despair, you can view this change as an opportunity to explore new roles or even pursue a long-held passion. This adaptability is a hallmark of Stoic thought, allowing us to navigate life's uncertainties with a sense of purpose and clarity. Understanding the impermanence of life enables us to shift our focus toward what truly matters. When we recognize that our time is limited, we become more intentional about how we spend it. Instead of engaging in trivial pursuits or getting caught up in unnecessary drama, we prioritize activities that bring us genuine joy and fulfillment, whether that means spending quality time with family, pursuing a passion, or contributing to a cause that resonates with us. The Stoics encourage us to live each day as if it could be our last, not in a morbid sense, but as a reminder to embrace life with purpose and presence. Imagine a scenario where you feel overwhelmed at work, constantly worrying about deadlines and whether you're meeting expectations. The fear of failure or disappointing others can be paralyzing. However, by applying the Stoic understanding of impermanence, you can remind yourself that this moment of stress is temporary. In the grand scheme of life, it may not hold as much significance as it feels in the moment. This perspective allows you to detach from anxiety, enabling you to focus on doing your best without being consumed by worry. Moreover, the acceptance of impermanence invites us to cultivate gratitude. Recognizing that everything is transient encourages us to appreciate what we have while we have it. For example, take a moment to reflect on the simple joys in your life. Perhaps it's the warmth of the sun on your skin, the joyful laughter of a friend, or the comfort of a favorite meal. These moments, while fleeting, present opportunities for gratitude that enrich our lives. The Stoics remind us that true contentment comes from within, rather than from external possessions or accolades. By practicing gratitude, we can shift our perspective and center ourselves on the positive aspects of our lives. In conclusion, understanding the impermanence of life is a fundamental lesson from Stoicism that empowers us to live with greater peace and confidence. When we accept that everything is temporary, our relationships, our possessions, and even our own lives, we stop clinging to what we cannot control and begin to appreciate life's fleeting moments. By embracing change and impermanence, we can live more fully, experiencing less fear and more gratitude. As Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Let this insight inspire us to live intentionally, fully aware of the preciousness of each moment, and to cherish the beauty that comes with the acceptance of change. Lesson 3. Finding freedom in acceptance, letting go of control. Acceptance is a fundamental teaching of Stoic philosophy and plays a crucial role in cultivating inner peace and self-assurance. At its core, acceptance involves recognizing that there are aspects of life we simply cannot control. Rather than resisting these realities, we should learn to embrace them. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, famously advised, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." This straightforward yet profound idea has the potential to transform our approach to life, helping us alleviate stress, anxiety, and frustration. In our daily lives, we often expend tremendous energy trying to change or control everything around us, whether it involves the actions of others, external events, or even something as unpredictable as the weather. The Stoics believed that this struggle to control the uncontrollable is a primary source of human suffering. When we resist what is, we create tension and inner turmoil. Conversely, when we practice acceptance, we find peace by aligning ourselves with reality as it is rather than as we wish it to be. To illustrate the power of acceptance, let's consider a common scenario: getting stuck in traffic. Many people experience overwhelming frustration or anger in such situations, often honking their horns, yelling at other drivers, or sitting in their cars fuming. Yet no matter how upset we become, the traffic remains unchanged and completely outside our control. If we approach this scenario with a Stoic mindset, we recognize that traffic is beyond our influence and can choose to accept it. Instead of letting frustration ruin our mood, we could use the time to listen to a podcast, practice deep breathing, or simply observe our surroundings calmly. This shift in mindset transforms what could be a stressful experience into an opportunity for peace and reflection. Marcus Aurelius succinctly captured this concept in his Meditations when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This quote encapsulates the essence of Stoic acceptance. While we may not control external circumstances, we always maintain control over our internal reactions. By accepting what we cannot change, we conserve our mental energy and redirect our focus toward what we can influence: our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. This shift is where true resilience and empowerment lie. It's important to clarify that acceptance does not equate to resignation or giving up. Many people mistakenly believe that accepting a situation means they are okay with it or that they don't care about the outcome. Stoic acceptance involves recognizing reality without allowing it to defeat us. It's about acknowledging, this is the way things are right now. What can I do within my control to respond to this situation in a constructive manner? By doing so, we empower ourselves to take meaningful action where possible rather than squandering energy on resistance or frustration. For example, imagine you've poured your heart into a project at work, but it doesn't receive the recognition you hoped for. Your initial reaction might be disappointment or frustration, especially if you feel that your efforts went unnoticed. However, through the lens of Stoic acceptance, you recognize that the response from others is beyond your control. What is within your control is the quality of your work and the pride you take in your effort. By accepting this situation, you can release the need for external validation and find peace in the knowledge that you did your best. This mindset not only builds resilience but also fosters a deeper sense of confidence because you are no longer reliant on external outcomes for your self-worth. Seneca, another influential Stoic thinker, taught about the power of acceptance, particularly when it comes to dealing with difficult people or challenging situations. He advised that we shouldn't expect life to be free from obstacles, but rather prepare ourselves to handle them with grace and composure. He famously wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." This wisdom encourages us to view challenges as a natural part of life, seeing them as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to our happiness. Let's apply this idea to personal relationships. Often, we find ourselves frustrated with others when they don't behave as we wish. Perhaps a friend cancels plans at the last moment, or a colleague proves difficult to work with. Our instinct might be to try to change their behavior or harbor resentment. In line with Stoic teachings, however, we can practice acceptance by acknowledging that we cannot control how others behave, we can only control our responses. Instead of getting upset, we can choose to accept the situation and respond with patience or understanding. This does not mean we condone poor behavior. Rather, it allows us to maintain our inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Another area where acceptance can be transformative is in dealing with failure or setbacks. Life does not always go according to plan, and many people struggle with accepting failure because they view it as a reflection of their worth. The Stoics encourage us to see failure as a natural part of the learning process. Epictetus urged his students to view every experience, whether good or bad, as an opportunity for learning and growth. Instead of resisting failure or allowing it to define us, Stoicism teaches us to accept it as part of the journey, analyze what went wrong, and move forward with newfound wisdom. This acceptance of failure builds resilience and confidence as it reframes mistakes as stepping stones to success rather than insurmountable barriers. Acceptance also involves letting go of the past. Many individuals carry the weight of past mistakes, regrets, or losses which can hinder their ability to live fully in the present. The Stoics remind us that the past is beyond our control. We cannot change what has already happened. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The past is a mere fragment of time no longer with us. The present is a mere instant racing by. The future is uncharted, uncertain, and unknown." By accepting that the past is unchangeable, we free ourselves from its grip and focus on what we can do in the present to shape our future. In conclusion, the power of acceptance is a central lesson in Stoicism that leads to greater peace, resilience, and confidence. By accepting what we cannot control, whether it be external events, the actions of others, or the unpredictability of life, we conserve our energy for the aspects we can influence. Stoic acceptance is not about passivity, it is about embracing reality as it is and taking thoughtful, purposeful action within our sphere of control. When we practice acceptance, we liberate ourselves from unnecessary suffering and cultivate the inner strength needed to navigate life's challenges with grace. Let us remember that by embracing acceptance, we can transform our lives and foster a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. Lesson 4. Releasing the past, the power of letting go. Letting go is one of the most liberating practices we can adopt in life, and it serves as a key principle in Stoic philosophy. Whether it involves releasing past mistakes, failed relationships, unmet expectations, or things we simply cannot control, learning to let go is essential for maintaining inner peace and emotional resilience. The Stoics firmly believed that much of our suffering arises from clinging to things that are beyond our control. By learning to release these attachments, we can free ourselves from unnecessary pain and suffering. Epictetus, a notable Stoic philosopher, famously taught, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." This quote encapsulates a fundamental Stoic belief: our suffering is often self-inflicted, stemming not from the events themselves but from our attachment to how we think things should be. When we cling to unrealistic expectations, desires, or outcomes, we set ourselves up for disappointment and frustration. Learning to let go means accepting reality as it is rather than trying to force it to conform to our wishes. To better understand the power of letting go, let's explore some practical examples. Consider a situation where you are holding on to anger from a past argument. This anger does not change the outcome of the argument, it only causes you more distress. By choosing to let go of that anger, you allow yourself to move forward without carrying the emotional burden of the past. Marcus Aurelius expressed this sentiment beautifully when he wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This focus on appreciating the present moment can help us release past grievances and future worries that weigh us down. Letting go is particularly powerful when it comes to dealing with past mistakes or regrets. Many people find themselves stuck in a cycle of replaying moments where they feel they could have made better choices or acted differently. While reflecting on past actions can be useful for learning and growth, dwelling on them prevents us from moving forward. Seneca taught that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. To embrace new opportunities and growth, we must let go of what is no longer serving us. By clinging to the past, we limit our ability to embrace the present and the future. The end of a relationship is a common scenario that illustrates the difficulty of letting go. Whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, or a professional partnership, the loss can be deeply painful. Many people struggle with letting go because they focus on what went wrong, what could have been, or what they might have done differently. This attachment to the past can lead to prolonged suffering and prevent healing. The Stoics remind us that all relationships, like everything else in life, are impermanent. Epictetus advised that we should view everything in life, including our relationships, as temporary gifts. Instead of clinging to what was, we can honor the relationship for its contributions to our lives and let go of the need to hold on to something that has naturally come to an end. For example, if a friendship fades, instead of mourning the loss, reflect on the moments that brought you joy and the lessons learned during that time. This shift in perspective allows for a richer appreciation of your experiences without being burdened by regret. The principle of letting go extends beyond relationships to all aspects of life, including material possessions, status, and even our own identities. Many individuals define themselves by their achievements, jobs, or social standing, holding on to these identities tightly because they provide a sense of security. However, Stoicism encourages us to recognize that these external markers of identity are fleeting and can change at any moment. Consider a scenario where someone loses their job. The initial reaction might involve fear, anger, or shame as they grapple with the loss of their professional identity. However, by practicing acceptance and letting go, they can view this situation as an opportunity for growth. They might explore new roles, pursue further education, or even start a business. This mindset shift allows them to redefine their sense of self beyond their job title, fostering a deeper sense of inner peace and confidence. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." This assertion underscores the idea that the courage to let go of attachments ultimately grants us freedom. When we release our emotional ties to our identities, we liberate ourselves from societal expectations and the pressures of external validation. We can begin to define ourselves based on our values and actions rather than on what others think or expect. Another vital aspect of letting go involves releasing our expectations. Often, we set ourselves up for disappointment by having rigid expectations of how situations should unfold. Whether it's anticipating a promotion, planning a vacation, or initiating a personal project, when reality doesn't align with our expectations, we experience frustration, sadness, or even anger. The Stoics remind us that while we can control our efforts, we cannot control the outcomes. Marcus Aurelius advised us to accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. This teaching encourages us to let go of rigid expectations and approach life with a sense of openness and acceptance. By doing so, we become more adaptable and resilient in the face of unexpected outcomes. For instance, imagine you are preparing for a crucial presentation at work. You might envision a scenario where everything goes perfectly and your colleagues are thoroughly impressed. However, if you focus solely on this outcome, you risk becoming anxious and distracted, which can hinder your performance. By applying Stoic principles, you can let go of the need for external validation and concentrate instead on what is within your control, your preparation, your delivery, and your effort. This approach reduces anxiety and builds confidence, allowing you to perform at your best regardless of how others respond. Letting go also applies to our attachment to what others think of us. Many people feel trapped by the opinions of others, constantly seeking validation or approval. This need for external validation can cause anxiety and erode our confidence because we are always worried about how we are perceived. The Stoics taught that what others think of us is entirely outside of our control. Epictetus stated, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This advice, while seemingly extreme, emphasizes the importance of letting go of the need for approval. When we release the desire to be liked or admired by everyone, we free ourselves from the constant pressure of living up to others' expectations. This newfound freedom brings a sense of peace and confidence in our own path. For example, consider the experience of giving a presentation at work. If you are preoccupied with how your colleagues will react, you may find it challenging to focus on delivering your message effectively. Instead, approach the situation with a Stoic mindset by concentrating on your preparation and the value of your content. By letting go of the outcome and shifting your attention to what you can control, your effort and dedication, you reduce anxiety and foster a sense of empowerment. This practice not only enhances your performance but also cultivates a deeper sense of self-worth that is independent of external opinions. Learning to let go is crucial when dealing with failure or setbacks. Life does not always go according to plan, which can be difficult for many people to accept. Often, individuals view failure as a reflection of their worth, leading to feelings of shame and inadequacy. However, the Stoics teach us to view failure as a natural part of life. Epictetus encouraged his students to see every experience, good or bad, as an opportunity for learning and growth. Instead of resisting failure or allowing it to define you, Stoicism encourages acceptance as part of the process. For instance, if you launch a business that does not succeed, instead of feeling defeated, analyze what went wrong and what lessons you can learn. This acceptance builds resilience and confidence as you begin to see mistakes as stepping stones to success rather than insurmountable barriers. Additionally, consider how the fear of failure can paralyze us from taking risks. Many people hesitate to pursue their passions or try new things due to the potential for failure. By understanding that failure is a natural and unavoidable part of life, we can reframe our mindset and embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. As Seneca wisely noted, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. This perspective encourages us to face our fears head-on, knowing that every challenge contributes to our personal development. Acceptance and letting go also involve releasing our attachment to the past. Many individuals carry the weight of past mistakes, regrets, or losses which can hinder their ability to live fully in the present. The Stoics remind us that the past is beyond our control. We cannot change what has already happened. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The past is a mere fragment of time no longer with us. The present is a mere instant racing by. The future is uncharted, uncertain, and unknown." By accepting that the past cannot be altered, we free ourselves from its grip and focus on what we can do in the present to shape our future. For example, imagine someone who struggles with regret over a decision made years ago. They may find themselves replaying that moment repeatedly, wishing they had acted differently. This fixation on the past can prevent them from moving forward and embracing new opportunities. By practicing acceptance, they can acknowledge their past choices, learn from them, and let go of the emotional burden associated with regret. This shift allows them to focus on the present and make conscious choices that align with their current values and goals. Letting go is also about embracing new beginnings. Each ending opens the door to new possibilities, and the Stoics encourage us to view change as an opportunity for growth. As Seneca wisely stated, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. To fully embrace new opportunities, we must be willing to release what is no longer serving us. For instance, consider someone who has just moved to a new city. While leaving behind familiar surroundings can be challenging, it also creates the chance to explore new friendships, experiences, and opportunities. By letting go of attachments to the past, they can embrace the potential that lies ahead. Furthermore, the practice of letting go can significantly enhance our emotional well-being. When we release burdens from our past, we often find ourselves more open to joy and contentment in the present. This practice cultivates a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity, allowing us to appreciate the beauty in our lives without being weighed down by what has been lost. As we learn to let go, it is essential to be kind to ourselves throughout the process. The journey of releasing attachments is not always easy, and it often requires time and self-compassion. Recognizing that growth comes with its own set of challenges can help us navigate the path toward acceptance more gracefully. The Stoics remind us that it is perfectly normal to struggle with letting go. What matters is our commitment to the journey. In conclusion, the power of letting go is a vital Stoic practice that liberates us from the emotional burdens of attachment. Whether it involves releasing past mistakes, unmet expectations, or the need for approval, this practice helps us live with greater peace and clarity. The Stoics teach us that much of our suffering stems from clinging to things beyond our control, and by releasing these attachments, we open ourselves to new possibilities and experiences. Letting go is not about giving up. Rather, it is about finding the freedom to live fully in the present without being burdened by what we cannot change. As we cultivate this understanding and practice acceptance, we begin to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. By embracing the wisdom of the Stoics, we can find strength in acceptance and ultimately lead lives filled with purpose and fulfillment. Remember that the journey of letting go is ongoing and requires practice. As we learn to release our attachments, we create space for new experiences, deeper connections, and a more profound appreciation for the present moment. By embodying the Stoic philosophy of acceptance, we can transform our lives and foster a sense of inner peace that empowers us to face whatever comes our way. Lesson 5. The practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness, or the practice of being fully present in the moment, is a powerful tool for cultivating inner peace and emotional resilience. In Stoic philosophy, mindfulness is essential because it helps us stay connected to what's happening right now, rather than becoming distracted by worries about the future or regrets about the past. The Stoics assert that most of our suffering arises from not living in the present moment and from constantly thinking about things we cannot control, whether they have already happened or might happen in the future. As Marcus Aurelius expressed, confine yourself to the present. This succinct advice serves as a reminder that the only moment we truly have is the present one. When we allow our minds to drift into the past or future, we lose touch with what is happening right now, and this disconnection can lead to anxiety, stress, and dissatisfaction. Mindfulness helps us redirect our attention back to the present, allowing us to engage more fully with life and respond to challenges with greater clarity and composure. Practicing mindfulness doesn't have to be complicated. It's about learning to focus on the task at hand, whether it's having a conversation, taking a walk, or even something as simple as washing the dishes. By paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings, you can become more attuned to the present moment. This practice helps you notice when your mind is wandering and gently brings it back to what you're doing. Over time, this ability to stay present strengthens your mental resilience and allows you to approach life with greater calm and focus. For example, consider a typical day at work where you're juggling multiple tasks. You might find yourself overwhelmed by a myriad of thoughts about deadlines, meetings, and personal responsibilities. Instead of focusing on the task in front of you, your mind races with anxiety about what you need to accomplish. This mental distraction not only affects your productivity but also heightens your stress levels. However, if you practice mindfulness, you can become aware of when your mind starts to drift. You can then take a deep breath, acknowledge your racing thoughts, and gently redirect your focus back to the task at hand. This shift does not only improve your concentration, but also alleviates the unnecessary mental burden of worrying about the future. Epictetus believed that mindfulness was crucial for managing our emotions. He taught that it's not external events that upset us, but rather how we interpret those events. By practicing mindfulness, we become more aware of our thoughts and emotional reactions. This awareness grants us the power to choose how we respond instead of reacting impulsively or letting our emotions take control. Mindfulness helps us pause, reflect, and respond in a way that aligns with our values and goals. This level of emotional self-regulation is a key component of Stoic wisdom, and it is a skill that can be developed through consistent mindfulness practice. Consider a situation where a driver cuts you off in traffic. Your initial reaction might be anger or frustration, and it's easy to react impulsively by honking your horn or shouting at the other driver. However, if you practice mindfulness, you can catch yourself before you react. You may notice the rising feeling of anger, acknowledge it, and choose not to act on it. Instead of letting that anger dictate your actions, you take a deep breath, let go of the irritation, and focus on continuing your drive peacefully. This ability to observe your emotions without being controlled by them is one of the greatest benefits of mindfulness. It helps you maintain your inner peace even in the face of external challenges. Mindfulness is also a powerful tool for reducing stress and anxiety. Many people experience anxiety because their minds are constantly focused on the future, worrying about what might happen, what could go wrong, or what they need to do next. The Stoics understood that worrying about the future is unproductive because it takes us out of the present moment, where we actually have the power to make changes. Seneca wisely noted, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This means that much of the stress and anxiety we feel stems from our minds creating worst-case scenarios rather than from what is actually happening. By practicing mindfulness, we bring our focus back to the present, which reduces anxiety and helps us deal with challenges more effectively. For example, if you find yourself anxious about an upcoming presentation at work, mindfulness can be incredibly beneficial. Instead of spiraling into thoughts like, What if I mess up? Or everyone will judge me if I make a mistake. You can acknowledge those thoughts without letting them control you. You might say to yourself, I notice I'm feeling anxious about the presentation. That's okay. I can focus on preparing and doing my best. This practice creates space between yourself and your anxious thoughts, allowing you to approach the situation with greater calm and confidence. Another important aspect of mindfulness is being aware of the transitory nature of our thoughts and emotions. The Stoics believed that nothing in life is permanent, not our circumstances, our feelings, or even our thoughts. Marcus Aurelius advised, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. This quote reflects the Stoic understanding that our thoughts are not necessarily reflective of reality. They are temporary mental events that come and go. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them. We realize that just because we think something doesn't make it true, and we gain the ability to let go of negative or unhelpful thoughts. Let's say you're feeling anxious about an upcoming presentation at work. Your mind might be filled with thoughts like, I'm going to mess this up, or everyone will judge me if I make a mistake. These thoughts can easily spiral into overwhelming anxiety if left unchecked. However, through mindfulness, you can observe these thoughts without getting caught up in them. You might acknowledge to yourself, I'm noticing that I'm feeling anxious about the presentation. That's okay. I don't have to believe every thought I have. This kind of mindful awareness creates space between you and your thoughts, which helps reduce anxiety and allows you to approach the situation with greater calm and confidence. Mindfulness also enhances our ability to experience gratitude and joy. When we are fully present, we are more likely to notice the beauty and goodness around us, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the taste of a delicious meal, or the laughter of a friend. These moments, though small, are where true happiness resides. The Stoics taught that happiness does not come from external success or material possessions, but from appreciating the present moment and cultivating an inner sense of peace. Epictetus said, he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. By practicing mindfulness, we train ourselves to focus on what we have right now rather than what we lack or what we desire in the future. Incorporating mindfulness into our daily routines can significantly enhance our overall well-being. Mindfulness can be practiced in various ways throughout the day. For instance, consider the simple act of eating. Instead of rushing through meals while distracted by screens or thoughts about the next task on your agenda, try to eat mindfully. Sit down, take a moment to appreciate your food, and savor each bite. Pay attention to the flavors, textures, and aromas. This practice not only enhances your enjoyment of food, but also helps ground you in the present moment. Another practical example of mindfulness can be found in everyday activities such as walking. Instead of getting lost in thought while walking, focus on the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your breath, and the sights and sounds around you. This heightened awareness transforms a mundane activity into a rich and fulfilling experience. Additionally, mindfulness can be practiced during conversations. Often, we may find ourselves thinking about what we want to say next rather than truly listening to the other person. By being fully present in conversations, we can deepen our connections and engage more meaningfully with those around us. When we listen with intention, we not only show respect to the speaker, but also enhance our understanding and empathy. It's essential to acknowledge that living fully in the present and practicing mindfulness isn't always easy. Life is filled with distractions, and our minds naturally wander to the past and future. The Stoics recognized this challenge and encouraged regular practice and reflection to cultivate the habit of presence. To develop mindfulness, consider establishing a daily routine. This could involve setting aside time for meditation, practicing deep breathing exercises or simply taking a few moments each day to reflect on your thoughts and feelings. For example, you might find a quiet space in your home, sit comfortably, and close your eyes. Focus on your breath, noticing the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Allow any thoughts that arise to come and go without judgment. If your mind wanders, gently bring your focus back to your breath. Over time, this practice can help you cultivate a greater sense of calm and clarity in your daily life. Mindfulness is a skill that requires practice and patience. Just as physical fitness takes time to develop, so too does the ability to remain present and mindful. The key is to approach mindfulness with a sense of curiosity and openness, allowing yourself to explore your thoughts and feelings without resistance. In conclusion, practicing mindfulness is a key Stoic lesson that helps us live with greater peace, focus, and emotional resilience. By staying present in the moment, we free ourselves from the stress of worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. Mindfulness allows us to observe our thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them, strengthening our ability to respond to life's challenges with clarity and wisdom. The Stoics remind us that true happiness comes from living fully in the present, and mindfulness is the practice that helps us achieve this state of being. As we embrace the art of mindfulness, we cultivate a life rich with meaning, connection, and joy. By implementing mindfulness into our daily routines, we open ourselves up to the beauty of each moment, enhancing our overall well-being and enriching our lives. Let us take to heart the teachings of the Stoics and strive to live with intention, embracing the present moment as the precious gift that it is. Lesson 6. The strength of silence, harnessing quiet moments. Silence is often undervalued in today's fast-paced, constantly connected world. Yet in Stoic philosophy, it holds immense power. The Stoics believe that silence is not merely the absence of noise, but rather a vital space for reflection, growth, and self-control. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, wrote, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This advice highlights the importance of listening and observing rather than perpetually talking. By utilizing silence effectively, we can process our thoughts, make better decisions, and respond to life's challenges with calm and wisdom. In modern life, we find ourselves surrounded by noise. Whether it's the incessant hum of technology, the pressures of work, or even our own racing thoughts. Many people feel uncomfortable with silence, rushing to fill every moment with distractions like music, social media, or continuous conversations. However, Stoicism teaches us that silence is a powerful tool for cultivating inner peace and emotional strength. It provides us with the space to reflect on our thoughts and actions, helping us become more intentional in how we engage with the world. Learning to harness the strength of silence means becoming comfortable with moments of quiet and stillness. In a society that often rewards quick responses and constant action, silence can feel like inaction or passivity. Yet the Stoics recognize that silence is an active practice. It is a conscious choice to pause, reflect, and listen before responding. Epictetus famously advised, "Nature gave us 1 tongue and 2 ears so that we could hear twice as much as we speak." This teaching encourages us to spend more time listening, not just to others but also to ourselves and the world around us, so that when we do speak, our words carry more meaning and purpose. Consider how often we rush to fill silence in conversations. This might stem from discomfort with quiet moments or an eagerness to make our point. Yet, in doing so, we often miss out on valuable insights. Allowing moments of silence gives us the opportunity to truly listen to what the other person is saying rather than merely preparing our next response. This deeper listening fosters stronger relationships, as it demonstrates genuine engagement and respect for the other person's perspective. For example, during a difficult conversation with a friend, pausing to reflect before responding can prevent misunderstandings and help you respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, also emphasized the value of silence in personal reflection. He wrote, "It is quality rather than quantity that matters." This principle applies not only to our speech but also to our thoughts. By spending time in silence, we can sift through the noise in our minds and focus on the thoughts that truly matter. Silence grants us the mental space to reflect on our values, our goals, and the way we are living our lives. It is in these moments of quiet that we can gain clarity about what is important to us and make decisions aligned with our true selves. Let's explore a practical example. You are in a meeting at work, and someone says something that frustrates you or challenges your point of view. The instinctive reaction might be to respond immediately, defending your position or expressing your frustration. However, by practicing silence, you can pause, take a breath, and give yourself a moment to reflect before responding. This brief moment of silence allows you to approach the situation with greater calm and clarity, rather than letting your emotions dictate your response. As a result, you are more likely to respond thoughtfully and constructively, which ultimately helps build your credibility and strengthens your relationships with others. Moreover, silence serves as a powerful tool for self-restraint. The Stoics believed that part of living a virtuous life involves learning to control our impulses, including the impulse to speak when it is unnecessary. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary?" This question can be applied to many aspects of life, including our speech. Before we speak, we should consider whether our words are necessary, whether they add value, and whether they align with our values. This practice helps us avoid speaking out of anger, frustration, or ego, ensuring that when we do speak, our words are meaningful and purposeful. In today's world, where social media platforms encourage constant communication and immediate responses, the ability to use silence effectively is more important than ever. Many people feel the pressure to react quickly to everything, whether it's a news story, a social media post, or a conversation. However, the Stoics remind us that there is strength in restraint. By choosing to pause and reflect before reacting, we not only protect our peace of mind, but also avoid unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings. Consider the example of online discussions, where conversations can often become heated or emotional. It's easy to get drawn into arguments or feel the need to defend your opinion immediately. However, by practicing silence and reflection, you can avoid reacting impulsively and getting caught up in negativity. Instead, take the time to think about whether responding is even necessary, and if it is, consider how you can answer in a constructive rather than combative manner. This practice helps maintain your emotional equilibrium and allows you to engage with others in a more thoughtful and respectful way. Silence also creates space for self-awareness. In moments of quiet, we have the opportunity to observe our thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment. This self-awareness is essential for personal growth as it helps us recognize patterns in our behavior, both positive and negative. For example, you might notice that you tend to react defensively in certain situations, or that you often speak out of a desire to impress others rather than from a place of genuine thoughtfulness. This awareness allows you to make conscious changes in how you interact with the world, leading to greater self-control and confidence. In addition to fostering self-awareness, silence provides an opportunity for gratitude and reflection. When we allow ourselves moments of quiet, we can reflect on the things we are grateful for and gain perspective on the challenges we face. The Stoics believed that gratitude is a key component of a happy and fulfilling life, and silence offers the perfect space to practice it. By taking time each day to sit in silence and reflect on what you're thankful for, you cultivate a sense of contentment and peace that strengthens your resilience in the face of adversity. For instance, consider setting aside a few minutes each morning to engage in a gratitude practice. As you sit in silence, think about 3 things you are grateful for that day. These could be simple pleasures: a warm cup of coffee, the sound of birds singing outside, or a kind gesture from a friend. By focusing on these positive aspects, you train your mind to appreciate the present rather than dwell on what is lacking in your life. Additionally, silence can enhance our capacity for mindfulness, allowing us to experience life more fully. When we are constantly bombarded by stimuli, notifications on our phones, background noise, and the hustle and bustle of daily life, it becomes challenging to stay grounded in the present. However, by intentionally incorporating moments of silence into our routines, we can create a sanctuary for our minds and hearts. Imagine taking a short walk outdoors, consciously choosing to leave your phone behind. As you walk, pay attention to the sensations in your body, the feeling of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your breath, and the sights and sounds of your surroundings. Allow yourself to be fully present in this experience. This practice not only rejuvenates your spirit but also deepens your connection to the world around you, fostering a greater appreciation for the beauty of life. The Stoics also highlighted the importance of silence in building resilience. When faced with adversity or challenges, it can be easy to become overwhelmed and react impulsively. However, by taking a moment of silence to reflect before responding, we create space for thoughtful consideration. This practice allows us to approach challenges with a clearer mind and a more balanced perspective. For example, when encountering a difficult situation at work, such as receiving critical feedback from a supervisor, your initial reaction might be defensive or emotional. Instead of immediately responding with frustration, practice taking a moment of silence. Breathe deeply, acknowledge your feelings, and then assess the situation objectively. This approach empowers you to respond constructively, fostering personal growth and improving your professional relationships. Furthermore, silence can be a catalyst for creativity and problem solving. In our busy lives, we often overlook the power of stillness to spark innovative ideas. When we quiet our minds, we allow space for inspiration to emerge. Many great thinkers and artists have emphasized the value of solitude and silence in their creative processes. For instance, the writer Virginia Woolf once stated, "For most of history, Anonymous was a woman." This highlights the importance of reflection and the need for a quiet space to think deeply and creatively. By cultivating moments of silence in our lives, we can tap into our creativity and approach challenges with fresh perspectives. Consider setting aside time each week for silent reflection or brainstorming, free from distractions. This practice not only enhances your creativity but also allows you to develop a deeper understanding of your thoughts and ideas. In conclusion, harnessing the strength of silence is a powerful Stoic practice that helps us cultivate self-control, clarity, and emotional resilience. In a world that often values constant communication and immediate reactions, silence offers a sanctuary for reflection, listening, and intentional action. By learning to pause before speaking, practicing self-restraint and embracing moments of quiet, we can strengthen our relationships, make better decisions, and live more mindfully. The Stoics remind us that silence is not emptiness, it is an opportunity for growth, wisdom, and peace. By integrating the practice of silence into our daily lives, we can foster a sense of inner calm and clarity, empowering us to navigate life's challenges with grace. Let us take to heart the lessons of Stoic philosophy and recognize the profound strength that silence offers. In doing so, we open ourselves up to a life filled with deeper connections, greater awareness, and a more meaningful existence. Lesson 7. Savoring the journey, enjoying every step along the way. One of the most powerful lessons in Stoic philosophy is the importance of focusing on the journey rather than becoming overly attached to the outcome. In a world that often emphasizes success, achievement, and results, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that happiness comes only when we reach our goals. However, the Stoics remind us that true contentment lies in the process, the day-to-day actions, the growth, and the learning that occurs along the way. As Epictetus wisely stated, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happen the way it happens, then you will be happy." This Stoic teaching encourages us to let go of an obsessive focus on outcomes and instead appreciate the effort, discipline, and experiences that accompany the pursuit of our goals. When we savor the journey, we free ourselves from the constant pressure of success and failure, learning to find joy in the small, everyday victories that make life meaningful. In our daily lives, we often set goals for ourselves, whether they are personal, professional, or related to hobbies. While having goals is important, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that our happiness or self-worth is tied to whether or not we achieve them. For instance, think about someone training for a marathon. If they focus solely on crossing the finish line and achieving a specific time, they might miss out on the satisfaction that comes from months of training, the strength they build along the way, and the discipline they develop throughout the process. The Stoics would encourage this person to take pride in their effort and the journey itself rather than seeing success only in the final result. Focusing on the journey rather than the outcome helps us stay present and engaged in what we are doing. When we become fixated on the future and what we hope to achieve, we can lose sight of the here and now. Marcus Aurelius articulated this idea when he advised, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This quote serves as a reminder that our mindset, especially how we approach the present moment, shapes our overall experience of life. If we are constantly chasing after some future result, we risk missing the beauty of the process itself. Let's consider a practical example. You are working on a long-term project at work or school, and you've set a big goal for yourself. Initially, you feel excited about the possibility of achieving it. However, as time goes on, the pressure to succeed builds, and you start to feel overwhelmed. You begin worrying about whether the final product will meet your expectations or whether others will approve of your work. In this mindset, the joy you originally felt when you started the project fades, and the process becomes a source of stress. Now, if you apply Stoic wisdom and focus on the journey, you remind yourself that the project is about the effort you are putting in, the skills you are developing, and the growth you are experiencing along the way. This shift in perspective reduces the pressure and allows you to enjoy the process again. Instead of becoming consumed by the outcome, you can celebrate the small steps you take each day, whether that means researching, brainstorming ideas, or collaborating with colleagues. This not only enhances your overall experience, but also fosters a sense of achievement and fulfillment throughout the journey. Another essential aspect of enjoying the journey is recognizing that life is unpredictable, and outcomes are never guaranteed. No matter how hard we work or how well we plan, we cannot control every factor that affects the outcome of our efforts. Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." This Stoic principle reminds us that it's the courage to act and take on challenges that truly matters, not the guarantee of success. When we accept that outcomes are uncertain, we free ourselves from the anxiety that often accompanies the fear of failure. Instead of worrying about whether we will succeed, we can focus on doing our best, knowing that the process itself is valuable regardless of the result. Think about athletes, artists, or anyone who practices a skill regularly. They spend countless hours honing their craft, often with no guarantee of success or recognition. If their happiness depended solely on winning competitions or gaining external approval, they would constantly feel stressed or disappointed. However, those who find joy in the practice itself, whether it's perfecting a technique, pushing their limits, or simply enjoying the act of creation, are far more likely to experience lasting satisfaction. For instance, consider a musician who dedicates years to mastering their instrument. Initially, the focus might be on performing in front of an audience or achieving recognition. However, as they immerse themselves in the practice, they begin to find joy in the music itself, the sound of the notes, the rhythm of the melody, and the expression of their emotions through their art. This enjoyment of the process enhances their passion and commitment, allowing them to grow as an artist without being solely focused on the end result. The Stoics teach us that the journey is where we grow, where we learn, and where we find true fulfillment, not in the external rewards or recognition that may come later. This perspective is particularly helpful when we face setbacks or failures. If we concentrate too heavily on the outcome, a setback can feel like the end of the world. We might feel as though we've wasted our time or that our efforts were for nothing. However, when we focus on the journey, we can view setbacks as part of the process, opportunities for learning and growth. Epictetus advised that we should view obstacles as chances to develop resilience and wisdom. By embracing the challenges we encounter along the way, we become stronger and more confident, knowing that the journey itself is what shapes us, not the final result. For example, if a business venture fails, rather than viewing it as a complete loss, we can analyze what went wrong, learn from our mistakes, and apply those lessons to future endeavors. This mindset fosters a sense of adaptability and resourcefulness, allowing us to navigate life's uncertainties with greater ease. Enjoying the journey also means being patient with ourselves. Many of us set ambitious goals and then become frustrated when progress is slow or when we encounter difficulties. The Stoics remind us that everything in life takes time and true growth happens gradually. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "No matter how long you train a bird to sing, you will never teach it to sing the way you do." Each has its own nature, its own way. This teaches us that we each have our own unique path, and it's important to honor that journey without rushing the process. For instance, consider someone training for a marathon. They may face numerous challenges along the way, including injuries, bad weather, or a lack of motivation. If they focus solely on the end goal, the race day, they may become discouraged when faced with setbacks. However, by embracing the journey, they can appreciate the incremental progress they make, such as increasing their distance each week, improving their stamina, and developing their mental resilience. This perspective allows them to celebrate the small victories along the way, fostering a sense of accomplishment that fuels their motivation. Moreover, focusing on the journey encourages us to cultivate gratitude for our experiences. When we shift our attention from the destination to the process, we become more aware of the richness of life itself. Gratitude is a powerful emotion that can enhance our overall well-being and satisfaction. The Stoics believed that cultivating gratitude is essential for a happy and fulfilling life. Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." By practicing gratitude, we train ourselves to focus on what we have right now rather than on what we lack or what we want in the future. To practice gratitude effectively, consider keeping a journal where you regularly write down things you are thankful for, big or small. This could include moments of joy, acts of kindness from others, or even personal achievements. By reflecting on these positive aspects of your life, you cultivate a mindset of abundance, which enriches your journey and enhances your overall happiness. In addition, embracing the journey means learning to enjoy the process, not just the outcome. It requires us to find fulfillment in our daily actions and to appreciate the lessons learned along the way. For example, if you are working on a project, instead of fixating on the final product, take time to acknowledge the skills you are developing, the teamwork involved, and the creativity you are expressing throughout the process. This shift in focus allows you to experience joy in the act of creation rather than solely in the end result. Furthermore, the Stoics encourage us to practice resilience in the face of adversity. Life is inevitably filled with challenges, and how we respond to these challenges shapes our journey. When we encounter obstacles, it's essential to remind ourselves that they are part of the process. Instead of viewing them as roadblocks, we can see them as opportunities for growth. This mindset shift allows us to approach life with greater confidence and adaptability. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb. Instead of becoming discouraged by his setbacks, Edison embraced each failure as a step toward success. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This perspective exemplifies the Stoic principle of embracing the journey, as Edison focused on the learning and growth that came from each attempt, ultimately leading to his groundbreaking invention. In conclusion, savoring the journey and enjoying every step along the way is a powerful Stoic lesson that helps us live with greater peace, contentment, and resilience. By shifting our focus from the end result to the process itself, we free ourselves from the pressures of success and failure. We learn to appreciate the small victories, the lessons we gain from setbacks, and the growth that occurs along the way. The Stoics teach us that life is not solely about reaching a destination, it's about embracing the journey with curiosity, gratitude, and a sense of purpose. As we integrate this wisdom into our lives, let us remember to find joy in the process, celebrate our progress, and cultivate gratitude for the experiences that shape us. By doing so, we open ourselves to a richer, more meaningful existence where every moment contributes to our growth and fulfillment. Let us strive to embody the Stoic philosophy of savoring the journey, understanding that it is within this journey that we discover the true essence of life. Lesson 8: Simple Joys, Discovering Happiness in Everyday Moments. One of the most beautiful lessons from Stoic philosophy is learning to find joy in the simplest things. In a world that often equates happiness with wealth, success, or grand achievements, Stoicism teaches us that true contentment comes from appreciating the small, everyday moments that life offers us. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, believed that living simply and valuing what is already present in our lives is the key to lasting happiness. He famously wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This profound quote reminds us that joy and fulfillment are not found in the relentless pursuit of more, but in recognizing the abundance of what we already have. The Stoics emphasized that external circumstances, whether it be wealth, possessions, or social status, do not determine our happiness. Instead, they taught that happiness is an internal state cultivated by our mindset and our ability to find joy in the present moment. When we shift our focus away from what we lack or what we desire, and instead appreciate the simple things in life, we discover that beauty and joy surround us. Let's take a moment to consider the small, everyday moments that bring us peace or happiness. A warm cup of coffee in the morning, the sound of rain on the roof, a kind smile from a stranger, or the feeling of the sun on our skin. These moments are often overlooked because they seem so ordinary. However, it is within these simple experiences that we can find true contentment if we are present enough to notice them. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This quote serves as a reminder that our mindset, especially how we approach the present moment, shapes our experience of life. If we are constantly chasing after some future result, we risk missing the beauty of the process itself. By shifting our focus to the journey, we allow ourselves to experience life more fully, experiencing less stress and more contentment. One practical example of finding joy in simplicity can be drawn from daily routines. Imagine you are commuting to work. Instead of filling this time with distractions like scrolling through social media or worrying about the day ahead, try to engage with your surroundings. Notice the sights, sounds, and smells. The vibrant colors of the trees or flowers, the fresh scent of morning air, or even the rhythm of your breath can all serve as reminders of the beauty in your immediate environment. This practice can transform an ordinary commute into a source of joy and mindfulness. Additionally, consider the act of eating, a daily ritual that can easily become mundane. Instead of rushing through meals while distracted by screens or thoughts, take a moment to savor each bite. Focus on the textures, flavors, and aromas of your food. As you do this, reflect on the nourishment it provides and the effort that went into preparing it. This mindfulness not only enhances your enjoyment of food but also grounds you in the present moment, fostering a deeper appreciation for the simple act of eating. The Stoics recognized that the challenge of finding joy in simplicity is exacerbated by the fast-paced, consumer-driven culture we live in today. We are bombarded with messages that tell us we need more money, more success, more possessions to be happy. However, Stoicism teaches us that this endless pursuit of more leads to dissatisfaction because it diverts our attention from the present moment and the simple pleasures that are readily available to us. As Epictetus wisely noted, wealth consists not in having great possessions but in having few wants. By reducing our desires and finding contentment in simple things, we can experience a deeper, more lasting sense of joy. Let's explore this idea further through a practical example. Imagine you are walking through a park on a sunny afternoon. You could spend the time worrying about your to-do list, checking your phone, or thinking about what you don't have. Alternatively, you could take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, and appreciate the beauty around you, the trees swaying gently in the breeze, the birds singing, and the laughter of children playing. By focusing on these simple, peaceful moments, you shift your mindset from one of stress or lack to one of gratitude and joy. The Stoics believed that this ability to appreciate the present is crucial for living a fulfilled life. Finding joy in the simplest things also means cultivating a mindset of gratitude. The Stoics taught that gratitude is a powerful antidote to dissatisfaction and unhappiness. By regularly reflecting on what we are grateful for, we remind ourselves of the abundance already present in our lives. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This advice encourages us to let go of the constant desire for more and to focus on the joy that can be found in the here and now. Gratitude can be practiced in many ways. Some people find it helpful to keep a gratitude journal where they write down a few things each day that they are thankful for. Others make a habit of pausing throughout the day to acknowledge the small blessings they might otherwise overlook, whether it's the comfort of a warm bed, the company of a good friend, or the satisfaction of a job well done. These moments of gratitude help us stay grounded in the present and appreciate the simplicity of life. Stoicism also teaches that finding joy in the simplest things is about embracing a life of moderation and simplicity. The Stoics did not believe in the pursuit of luxury or excess. Instead, they valued a balanced life where material possessions and external successes are secondary to inner peace and virtue. Epictetus advised, "He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing." This teaching encourages us to simplify our lives and reduce our attachment to material things so we can focus on what truly matters: our relationships, our health, and our personal growth. Imagine simplifying your life by decluttering your home or reducing unnecessary expenses. This doesn't mean living in deprivation. Rather, it involves shifting your focus away from accumulating more things and toward appreciating what you already have. The Stoics believed that by freeing ourselves from the constant desire for more, we create space for greater peace and contentment. By simplifying our lives, we reduce stress, eliminate distractions, and make room for the things that bring us true joy. Another significant aspect of savoring the journey is learning to be present with the people we care about. In our busy lives, it's easy to take our relationships for granted or to be distracted when spending time with loved ones. The Stoics remind us that these moments of connection are among the most meaningful experiences in life. Marcus Aurelius encouraged us to be fully present in our interactions with others, saying, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." By appreciating the time we have with the people we care about, we find joy in the simple act of being together, whether it's sharing a meal, having a conversation, or just sitting in silence. Let's take a moment to reflect on how we often engage with our loved ones. It is all too common to be physically present while mentally distracted, scrolling through our phones or thinking about our to-do lists. This disconnection can lead to misunderstandings and missed opportunities for deeper connection. Instead, by practicing mindfulness in your interactions, you can enhance the quality of your relationships. For example, during a family dinner, put away your devices and focus on the conversation. Ask open-ended questions, listen actively, and engage with the stories and experiences shared. This not only strengthens your bonds, but also enriches your appreciation for the time spent together. In the end, savoring the journey and embracing simple joys is a powerful Stoic lesson that helps us live with greater peace, contentment, and gratitude. By shifting our focus away from the constant pursuit of more and learning to appreciate the small moments in life, we discover that happiness is not found in external achievements or possessions but in the present moment. The Stoics teach us that by living simply, practicing gratitude, and being fully present, we can experience a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment in our everyday lives. As we embark on this journey of savoring the simple joys, let us remember to be patient and compassionate with ourselves. The practice of finding happiness in everyday moments requires time and intentionality. We may not always succeed in maintaining our focus on the present, but by committing to this practice, we can gradually cultivate a mindset that celebrates the beauty of life's small pleasures. Let's take a final moment to embrace the teachings of the Stoics and recognize the profound impact that simple joys can have on our lives. By making a conscious effort to appreciate the present moment, we can transform our everyday experiences into opportunities for joy and fulfillment. Remember, it is in these simple moments that we find the essence of life and the true path to happiness. Lesson 9. Gratitude as a guide, cultivating a thankful heart. Gratitude is one of the most powerful practices for cultivating happiness, peace, and resilience, and it holds a central place in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that by regularly reflecting on what we are grateful for, we can shift our focus from what we lack to the abundance already present in our lives. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." This simple truth reminds us that gratitude is not just about uttering polite words of thanks. It is about adopting a mindset that appreciates life's gifts, both big and small. In the fast-paced, consumer-driven world we live in today, it is all too easy to get caught up in the pursuit of more success, more possessions, more recognition. However, the Stoics teach us that true happiness does not come from acquiring more, but rather from appreciating what we already have. By practicing gratitude, we ground ourselves in the present and experience a deeper sense of contentment, regardless of our external circumstances. Epicurus encouraged his students to reflect on their blessings daily, stating, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This Stoic wisdom helps us focus on the good in our lives, even when we face challenges or setbacks. Practicing gratitude does not mean ignoring difficulties or pretending that everything is perfect. Rather, it is about acknowledging the positive aspects of life even in the midst of hardship. When we develop the habit of gratitude, we train our minds to see the blessings that exist alongside the challenges. For example, if you are going through a difficult time at work or in a relationship, practicing gratitude might involve focusing on the lessons you are learning, the support of loved ones, or even the strength you have developed through adversity. This shift in perspective helps build resilience and prevents us from becoming overwhelmed by negative emotions. Consider a practical example. Imagine you've been passed over for a promotion at work. This situation can naturally lead to feelings of frustration or disappointment. While it's important to acknowledge those feelings, Stoicism teaches that practicing gratitude can help shift your mindset. Instead of dwelling on the promotion you didn't receive, focus on the opportunities still available to you, the relationships you've built at work, the skills you've gained, or the fact that you have a job that supports you. This approach doesn't mean denying your disappointment. Rather, it involves balancing it with gratitude for what is still going well in your life. This practice can significantly reduce stress and frustration, helping you maintain a positive outlook. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of gratitude, particularly when facing the challenges of daily life. He wrote in his Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This quote encourages us to begin each day with a sense of gratitude, recognizing that life itself is a gift. By starting the day with this mindset, we set a positive tone that can carry us through even the toughest moments. One of the simplest ways to cultivate gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, take a few moments to write down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be big or small. Perhaps you are grateful for a kind word from a friend, a moment of peace, or simply the fact that you made it through a challenging day. Over time, this practice helps train your mind to focus on the positive aspects of life, which fosters a sense of contentment and reduces the tendency to dwell on what is lacking. Gratitude also plays a vital role in our relationships. It is easy to take the people in our lives for granted, especially those we see regularly. However, by practicing gratitude, we learn to appreciate the small acts of kindness, support, and love that our friends, family, and colleagues offer us each day. Seneca advised that we should always express gratitude toward others, not only to strengthen our relationships, but also because it enriches our own sense of well-being. When we take time to thank the people in our lives, we not only make them feel appreciated, but we also reinforce our connection to them and deepen our relationships. For instance, think about a friend who regularly checks in on you during tough times, or a colleague who steps in to help when your workload becomes overwhelming. While these acts may seem routine, expressing gratitude for them can have a profound impact on your relationship. A simple thank you or acknowledgement of their support can strengthen your bond and make them feel valued. This practice of gratitude not only improves your relationships but also enhances your own sense of fulfillment because you become more aware of the positive connections in your life. Another important aspect of gratitude is learning to appreciate life's simple pleasures. The Stoics believe that happiness is found in simplicity, not in luxury or excess. Epicurus taught that we should focus on the essentials: good health, nourishing food, meaningful work, and loving relationships, and find joy in these basic aspects of life. By appreciating the simple things, we cultivate a mindset of abundance, even if our circumstances are modest. For example, take a moment to enjoy the warmth of the sun on your face, the comfort of a cozy blanket, or the laughter shared with friends. These moments remind us that joy doesn't depend on grand achievements or material wealth. Instead, it is rooted in our ability to be present and appreciate what we have right now. In today's consumer-oriented society, we are bombarded with messages that encourage us to strive for more. More possessions, more status, more recognition. However, the Stoics remind us that contentment comes from within. Seneca stated, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This teaching encourages us to be satisfied with what we have instead of constantly seeking more. By practicing gratitude, we learn to appreciate the abundance already present in our lives and free ourselves from the endless pursuit of more. Let's delve deeper into how gratitude can transform our perspectives and experiences. Consider a scenario where you are facing a challenging project at work. Instead of focusing solely on the stress and pressure associated with it, take a moment to reflect on the opportunity it presents. You might think about the skills you will develop, the chance to collaborate with others, and the personal growth that will come from overcoming this challenge. This shift in focus from anxiety to gratitude allows you to approach the project with a more positive mindset, increasing your overall satisfaction and engagement. Additionally, gratitude can serve as a powerful antidote to negative emotions. When we encounter difficulties, be it a setback in our career or a personal loss, practicing gratitude can help us maintain perspective. For instance, if you experience a failure or disappointment, instead of allowing it to consume you, take a moment to reflect on what you can learn from the experience and what you still have in your life to be thankful for. This practice can significantly reduce feelings of despair and help you cultivate resilience. Moreover, cultivating gratitude can improve our mental health. Studies have shown that individuals who practice gratitude regularly experience lower levels of depression and anxiety. By focusing on the positive aspects of our lives, we create a buffer against negative emotions and foster a sense of well-being. For example, consider a daily gratitude practice where you list 3 things you are grateful for each day. This simple act can shift your mindset, making you more aware of the good in your life and enhancing your overall mood. In conclusion, gratitude is a fundamental Stoic practice that brings greater peace, contentment, and resilience. By focusing on the good in our lives, whether it's our health, our relationships, or life's simple pleasures, we shift our mindset from one of lack to one of abundance. The Stoics teach us that true happiness comes from appreciating what we have, not from external achievements or possessions. As we embrace the practice of gratitude, we cultivate a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment in our everyday lives. Let us remember that the journey of gratitude is ongoing and requires regular practice. By integrating gratitude into our daily routines, we open ourselves up to a life filled with richness and depth. Let us take to heart the teachings of the Stoics and strive to cultivate a thankful heart. By doing so, we can transform our experiences, deepen our connections with others, and ultimately lead lives that are more meaningful and fulfilling. As we move forward, let's commit to embracing gratitude as a guiding principle in our lives. Let us acknowledge the abundance that surrounds us, appreciate the simple joys, and cultivate a mindset that fosters happiness and resilience. By practicing gratitude daily, we can unlock the door to a more profound sense of peace and contentment, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with grace and positivity. Lesson 10. The gift of solitude, finding peace within. In a world that is constantly connected, where we are bombarded by notifications, social media updates, and endless streams of information, solitude can seem like a rare commodity. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us that solitude is not only important, it is essential for personal growth and emotional well-being. The Stoics understood that moments of silence and solitude allow us to reconnect with ourselves on a deeper level, providing the space needed for reflection, self-discovery, and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, found profound value in solitude, writing in his Meditations, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This quote emphasizes the Stoic belief that true peace and clarity come from within. When we take the time to step away from the noise of daily life, we can engage in introspection and cultivate a deeper understanding of our thoughts and feelings. Solitude, in the Stoic sense, does not merely mean being physically alone. It's about creating space for quiet reflection, allowing us to assess our thoughts, examine our actions, and reconnect with our values. In solitude, we can build emotional resilience and clarity, which empowers us to face the challenges of life with a calm and centered mindset. Today's fast-paced world often discourages solitude, making it uncomfortable for many. We are so accustomed to constant stimulation from our phones, conversations, and work that the idea of being alone with our thoughts can feel unsettling. However, Stoicism teaches us that solitude is a powerful tool for self-discovery and personal growth. Seneca wrote, "Nothing to my way of thinking is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company." This wisdom reminds us that being comfortable with solitude is a sign of mental strength and inner peace. Consider a common scenario. You've had a long, stressful day at work, and all you want to do is unwind. Many people turn to distractions, watching TV, scrolling through social media, or going out with friends to escape the stress. While these activities can be enjoyable, they often prevent us from truly processing the events of the day or addressing our emotions. By taking a few moments of solitude, however, we can reflect on what happened, assess how we handled the day's challenges, and learn from the experience. This practice not only helps reduce stress, but also strengthens our ability to navigate similar situations in the future with greater clarity and calm. Marcus Aurelius often emphasized the importance of retreating into oneself for peace and wisdom. He believed that by spending time in quiet reflection, we can better understand our thoughts and emotions, which allows us to respond to life's challenges with more wisdom and composure. He wrote, "People seek retreats for themselves in the country, by the sea, in the mountains. But it is in one's own soul that a man finds the most peaceful and trouble-free retreat." This Stoic principle teaches us that we don't need to escape to far-off places to find peace. Instead, we can cultivate inner tranquility by regularly retreating into our own minds through moments of solitude. One of the greatest benefits of solitude is that it allows us to develop a stronger sense of self-awareness. In the busyness of life, it's easy to get caught up in external demands, social expectations, or the opinions of others. We often make decisions based on what we think we should do rather than what aligns with our true values and goals. However, in solitude, we have the opportunity to reflect on who we are and what we genuinely want. This deeper self-awareness helps us make more intentional decisions, live in alignment with our values, and build confidence in our own paths. For example, imagine you are at a crossroads in your career, unsure whether to stay in your current job or pursue a new opportunity. You may have been asking friends and colleagues for advice, but their input can sometimes cloud your judgment. By spending time in solitude, you can reflect on what's truly important to you: growth, stability, or work-life balance. This time alone allows you to filter out the noise of other people's opinions and reconnect with your inner wisdom, ultimately leading to a decision that resonates with your authentic self. Solitude also fosters emotional regulation. When we are constantly surrounded by noise and activity, it can be easy to become overwhelmed by our emotions. Whether it's frustration, anxiety, or sadness, our emotions can quickly spiral if we don't take the time to process them. The Stoics believed that solitude offers the necessary space to observe our emotions without being controlled by them. Epictetus taught that we should regularly examine our thoughts and feelings in solitude, asking ourselves, are these emotions serving me, or are they clouding my judgment? This practice helps us gain control over our emotions so that we can respond to life's challenges with calm and clarity. Let's consider a situation where solitude can be particularly helpful. Dealing with conflict. Imagine you've had an argument with a close friend or family member. Your emotions are running high, and you're tempted to react impulsively, perhaps by sending a heated text or saying something hurtful. In this moment, taking a step back and spending time in solitude can make all the difference. By giving yourself space to reflect on the situation, you can process your emotions, consider the other person's perspective, and decide how to respond in a way that aligns with your values. This pause not only prevents unnecessary conflict, but also helps strengthen the relationship. Moreover, solitude can also be a time for practicing gratitude and reflection. In moments of quiet, we can contemplate what we are grateful for, which helps us cultivate a sense of contentment and peace. Seneca advised that we should regularly take time to reflect on our blessings, saying, "A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not." This practice of gratitude in solitude helps us focus on the abundance already present in our lives rather than constantly seeking more. In today's world, where constant connectivity is often seen as a necessity, the importance of solitude is greater than ever. It is in solitude that we can disconnect from the noise, reflect on our lives, and gain the clarity needed to make meaningful decisions. Whether it's a few moments of quiet in the morning, a walk in nature, or simply sitting in stillness, solitude offers a space for growth, reflection, and inner peace. To cultivate the practice of solitude, consider setting aside dedicated time each day for quiet reflection. This could involve creating a calming environment, perhaps with soft lighting or soothing music, and taking a few moments to breathe deeply and center yourself. Allow your mind to wander freely, letting thoughts come and go without judgment. By engaging in this practice regularly, you'll discover a greater sense of calm and clarity that can enhance your overall well-being. Additionally, solitude can be a powerful catalyst for creativity. Many artists, writers, and thinkers have emphasized the value of solitude in their creative processes. When we quiet our minds and allow ourselves to be alone with our thoughts, we create an environment where inspiration can flourish. For instance, consider how many writers seek out solitude to craft their work. In the stillness, they find the clarity and focus needed to express their ideas fully. Furthermore, the practice of solitude can lead to profound insights about ourselves and our lives. When we step away from the noise and distractions of daily life, we create space for self-reflection. This can be particularly important during times of change or uncertainty. For example, after experiencing a significant life event, a job change, a move to a new city, or the end of a relationship, taking time for solitude allows us to process our feelings and thoughts. We can examine what we've learned from the experience and how we want to move forward. In addition to fostering self-awareness and creativity, solitude can deepen our relationships with others. When we take the time to reflect on our interactions and experiences in solitude, we can gain valuable insights into how we connect with others. This self-reflection can help us identify patterns in our behavior, such as tendencies to withdraw during conflict or to avoid difficult conversations. By understanding ourselves better, we can approach our relationships with greater empathy and awareness, ultimately fostering stronger connections. As we embrace the gift of solitude, it is essential to be patient with ourselves. The journey towards self-discovery and inner peace takes time and practice. In a world that often rewards constant activity and engagement, learning to appreciate moments of quiet can feel challenging. However, the rewards of solitude are profound, offering us the chance to reconnect with our values and cultivate a deeper sense of fulfillment. Consider making solitude a regular part of your life. This does not have to be an elaborate process. Simple practices such as taking a few minutes before bed to reflect on your day or spending time in nature can be incredibly effective. You might find a quiet spot in your home or a favorite park where you can sit in stillness, breathe deeply, and allow your thoughts to settle. These moments of solitude can serve as a reset button, helping you center yourself and reconnect with your inner peace. In addition, engaging in creative activities during solitary moments can also enhance your experience. Whether it's writing, painting, or playing a musical instrument, solitude can foster an environment conducive to creativity. When we remove distractions and allow ourselves to explore our thoughts and feelings, we often discover new ideas and insights that can enrich our lives. Furthermore, solitude can provide a unique opportunity for personal growth. As we reflect on our lives, we can assess our goals, dreams, and aspirations. This introspection can help us identify areas for improvement and set new intentions for the future. For example, if you've been feeling unfulfilled in your career, taking time in solitude to reflect on your passions and values can help you clarify what steps to take next. As we cultivate the practice of solitude, it's valuable to remember that it is not about isolation. Instead, It is about creating a nurturing environment where we can explore our thoughts and emotions freely. The Stoics teach us that solitude is a powerful ally on our journey towards self-discovery and fulfillment. By embracing moments of quiet, we allow ourselves to connect with our true selves and gain the wisdom needed to navigate life's challenges. In conclusion, the gift of solitude is a vital Stoic lesson that helps us cultivate inner strength, clarity, and emotional resilience. The Stoics teach us that solitude is not about isolation, but about creating space for self-reflection, growth, and peace. By regularly retreating into moments of quiet, we can reconnect with our values, process our emotions, and gain the wisdom needed to navigate life's challenges with greater confidence and calm. As you reflect on the importance of solitude, I encourage you to make it a regular practice in your life. Set aside dedicated time each day for quiet reflection, whether through meditation, journaling, or simply enjoying the natural world around you. Embrace the gift of solitude, recognizing it as an opportunity for growth, clarity, and peace. By fostering this practice, you can cultivate a deeper, more meaningful existence that enriches your life and the lives of those around you. Finally, if you found value in these lessons about Stoicism and the transformative power of solitude, please take a moment to like this content, share it with friends and family, and subscribe for more insights. Together, let's continue on this journey of growth and self-discovery, building a community centered around calm, resilience, and wisdom. Remember, it's in the quiet moments that we often find the greatest clarity. And by embracing solitude, we can truly unlock the potential within ourselves.